paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason. Alright, speaking for paying for things where you don't get results, I found a lovely rabbit hole recently. So like you've heard of Etsy, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, like the cute little shop where you buy Christmas gifts last minute, friends and family, etc. I found the spellcasting tab.
Like
where you can
people who cast
purchase
spells.
You can purchase somebody's a wizard or warlock or mage's services.
A witch. We're equal opportunity here.
Yeah. Yeah, there are 5,000 listings here. Some of the filters on Etsy are really funny for this, like arrives within 7 days.
Arrives within 7 plagues.
Exclude digital items.
So the computer viruses then.
I would like to buy some like Norton antivirus or some Norton viruses, or I would like to disable my ex's McAfee, please. Can you cast a hex upon their
upon their antivirus software? Yeah. There is a real market for stuff like this. Obviously, the Etsy putting a curse on your boss stuff is a little bit more in the intangible fantasy realm. But I actually know a couple of people who have spent a lot of money to purchase grimoires. Like old books from like the witch hunt eras that like contained families' spell books or whatever, and like they're worth a ton of money if you can verify
cool
that
as
shit
shit,
from
though. That's different.
Right. This is me taking something very silly and bringing up something cool from it.
Yeah, like all of that stuff, like super cool, super cool. But wealth spell, it's just called wealth spell.
If you buy enough of my wealth spells, I'll get wealthy. Do they send like video proof of them doing the spell?
It says it comes with photo proof.
So I will contact. You go on to like Etsy, you go to the customs request menu or whatever, and you're like, yeah, can you get me a wealth spell on my dad? Make sure there's feet in the video.
55 wealth spells, 55 love spells, 55 burger spells, 55.
Hey, a grift is a grift is a grift is a grift, and in 2025, if you can find a grift, you probably shouldn't do it, but you probably are going to. Yeah, like, whomst among us has... I'm posting this. There you go. The wealth spell is on sale for 55% off, which I feel like is irrelevant, right? Like, if you're gonna... Hey.
If you find the infinite money glitch, what does it matter if it's $5 or $10?
That's how rich people become wealthy people, is they don't spend their money. They save it. A bargain today is a billion tomorrow.
That's true. Don't tip your servers.
You heard it here first, folks.
That's a dangerous soundbite, JJ.
It sure is. Quote, DJ Douglas Johnson does not stand with workers? Question mark?
Exclamation point, question mark? Unlock the gates of abundance and invite financial prosperity into your life with our Abundant Blessings, Wealth, and Prosperity spell. Skillfully crafted and infused with the essence of Well, that's a tongue... Hang on. Skillfully crafted and infused with the essence of affluence and opulence. This spell empowers you to manifest wealth and attract money effortlessly. That's a mouthful.
You know what else is skillfully crafted and infused with the essence of affluence and opulence?
Our Patreon page.
And is certain to invite financial prosperity into your life. I was going to say our sponsor, MTGstocks.com. I'm just saying. Both of those things. Our Patreon and MTGstocks.com, both of those are basically wealth spells.
Yeah. The incantation just happens to be a URL.
The incantation happens to be an hour podcast that we put out most every week. Like right now, we are spellcasting, DJ.
I money manifestation, invoke the power of manifestation with the money manifestation feature of this spell. So it comes with features.
Also-
Increase money spell, millionaire spell, rich spell. I don't know if these are all different.
Can a wealth spell not target yourself? Like, why is the person who's making these selling them? Why wouldn't you just wealth spell yourself and become wealthy beyond your wildest dreams? Like, why are you selling them?
I think I found that out at the end. They conveniently put this all the way at the bottom. As an Etsy seller, I must adhere to Etsy's guidelines, which stipulate that all divination services I offer are designed solely for entertainment purposes. Please note that the products available in my shop are 18 and up. It is crucial to recognize that I do not have control over the outcomes of any. So they TOC you right at the end. Or TAZ, terms and conditions, whatever. Nonetheless,
Terms of
should you have-
conditions.
Please do not hesitate to reach out.
Whoa, is there a C word for magic?
Well-
Terms of conjuring.
Yeah. Terms of casting.
There we go. Oh, it was right there.
Your satisfaction and well-being are paramount. I am committed to supporting you with the best of my ability. Instant delivery, instant download.
I think it's really funny that this is a total segue. Do you know how and why Harry Houdini died?
Yeah, we've been over this where he just
Great.
he had a hit put out on him by the spiritualist who would just go punch him.
It was the spiritualist would hire strong men to go punch him because Harry Houdini had this thing where you can punch me as hard as you want and I'll be fine because he just had like strong core muscles and would flex them.
And there's a technique to it, yeah.
Right, and the strong man came up and kept punching him until he just like got internal bleeding and died.
And like sucker punched him too. It wasn't like, "Hi, my name is this. I want to punch." It was just like getting sucker punched. There's no magician trick out of that. And he was like, Harry Houdini went on like a crusade against all the grifters in the 1800s or whatever.
We could be the modern day Harry Houdini.
Was Houdini 1800s?
I think so.
He seems like a guy that could either be from 1810 or 1930, and I wouldn't. It'd be
1874 to 1926. That's
okay. So he was middle of in between. Yeah, both.
Yeah, we could be the modern day Houdini. We could go on a crusade against mystics and all that stuff, and we can get punched to death. That's just a thing that's in our range.
I think I would do okay at that.
I don't think you could take a punch, DJ.
What?
DJ, do you want a fist fight in Vegas this weekend?
I'm scrappy though. I've got like the spider monkey.
Have you ever been punched in the face, DJ?
Not in the face.
You can't get punched in the face and get back up. It is over, big dog.
This spell is 5 to 10k fast money. It doesn't go above. It doesn't go above 10k.
My powers as a wizard do not go above the threshold for IRS notification. So you may be a powerful wizard, but the IRS is stronger. Have you ever met a tax wizard?
That just goes to show how powerful Scientology wizards are.
That is true. Tom Cruise, my favorite Christ-like figure, is a powerful wizard.
I love the reviews.
Great spell. Thanks.
Oh no! This review is from January 21st, 2025 on the fast money spell. I haven't received anything yet. I'm staying positive and hopefully I receive $5,000 to $10,000 soon! Exclamation point.
Okay, I found another version of the wealth spell that I think...
waiting for dad to come home with cigarettes energy, like...
I think I found the worst version of the wealth spell, which is become a millionaire spell. Just become a millionaire spell. And the results are like, the comments are all like, manifesting with this person's help. Looking forward to the manifestation coming soon. I'm so excited for the outcome and can't wait to share.
They're just like on the sidewalk with their bindle, their stick, just like sitting on the sidewalk whistling a tune, waiting for the suitcase to blow into their lap.
Yeah, the magical millions. Jesus.
Oh, I found the most affordable spell I've seen on this website so far.
Oh?
The Return X spell.
How much is that one?
$2.11. At
I
that point, you're just like hedging your bets, right? Like that's a
Right.
rounding error. That's a small coffee. Like that's just chuck
Honestly,
that into the universe. What's the
everyone
downside?
should just buy that regardless. Even if you don't have an X, just buy it just in case. Maybe you had an X you didn't know about.
That's true. Does this work on parasocial relationships?
It's $2.11. We might as well try.
There's a non-zero number of our Patreons who are asking us to buy this with their Patreon money.
Get in the comments. Get in the comments and tell us if you want us to buy a spell for the cast. Because we will do that. The thing about our Patreon is we don't really pay ourselves. The money's not for us. It's for you, the viewers. It's for you to get good bits. And for JJ to be able... We need to create a JJ-related bit. Like, what is the Patreon money for? Is it so JJ can buy Hot Pockets? Like, something like that, you know? Get in the comments and tell us what you think JJ should do with our Patreon money.
Last week, I said that Last week, my Patreon pitch was... Your dollar could be the one that convinces JJ to cut the cancel. For as little as $1 a month, you could save this podcast. Like, JJ's finger could be on the trigger of deleting the most horrid, cancelable nonsense, and, like, the $1 just camel that breaks his back. He's like, you know what? That's fine.
We need to make, the Sarah McLachlan commercial where it's you, me, and Corbin, like, looking sad and shaking on the side of the road, and it's like, these podcasters got canceled for as little as $1 a month. You can save them from being canceled by paying a talented editor.
I think Corbin's wife has history of working with animal shelters, so we could put Corbin in a dog cage for this, I think.
Corbin has a dog cage for other reasons also, I'm sure.
We could put him in a kennel. I did...
Please subscribe to our Patreon so we can put Corbin Hostler in a dog cage. Put that man in a kennel. It's the only way he can be more T-girl coded.
I love how every time he mentions something in the group chat, you just get to turn that into how he hasn't taken estrogen yet. It's really funny.
I need like an emote in our server of Corbin like behind bars. Just in a little dog cage.
With twin tails.
Yeah. Jesus.
I did search Etsy for Patreon millionaire spell. That one doesn't work.
Unfortunate.
That's why we need the listeners' help because Etsy doesn't offer the Patreon millionaire spell.
And you know, we've been asking for a lot from you, our viewers. We're asking you to give us money on Patreon, to get in the comments. It's time for us to give back to you. Let's break some bulk.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, breaking bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
Oh, wait, I gotta share one more.
Okay.
I'm just gonna give you an image, without context.
These images have to be AI generated, right?
Yeah, there's so many AI thumbnails. The Jessica Black Premium Collection, make them do what you want control spell.
Oh my god, we live in the era of slop.
After purchase, please send your name, date of birth to get things started. Please remember that you can have up to 4 castings done per spell to completely maximize the energies. To order a quadruple casting, simply purchase the listing 4 times.
My breaking bulk this week is a Lord of the Rings green common.
Oh, I'm not gonna know this. That set has 6,000 cards in it.
That's true.
I surrender. F6.
No, you gotta give me at least one guess.
The first card that comes to mind is Farseek, and I don't think that's it.
That's in Commander. The card is Generous Ent.
Oh, sure. I could have.
The Forest
If I'd given
Cycler.
it a small amount of thought, I guess I could have guessed that. Yeah.
Yeah. That card has a buy list of over double low, 45-cent buy list. It's one of the most played cards in Pauper. It's starting to see play in Modern again because of Living End is kind of on the comeback. Pull these out of your Lord of the Rings bulk. This card probably will be $1 at some point. All the land cyclers from that set are really strong. Even the white one, which is the worst one, is like a pretty strong card. One colorless to cycle for land
is reasonably pickable in Cube too.
Yeah, I think the fact that like it fixes your mana if it finds like a dual land, and it also can be reanimated. Like Troll of Khazad Doom saw Legacy play, right?
There's also factors here where they've made more mechanics care about how much CMC is in your grave, how much mana value is in your graveyard.
Yeah.
So like you can collect evidence for 6 off of like all of these. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think that honestly the whole land, obviously Lorien Revealed has always been expensive, and I think Troll was even $1 or $2 for a bit there.
Yeah, Troll was good.
Oliphant, Generous Ent, Alabaster Eagles maybe. I don't remember what the white one's called. A Great Eagle of the North maybe.
Yeah.
All those cards have seen play at various points. I know that actually the white one even saw play in Modern when Up the Beanstalk was legal, which is, a wild statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I have 2. They're both kind of bulky. We'll see how this goes. I have
a
Portal 3 Kingdoms white uncommon.
DJ, what the are you talking about?
Yeah.
All right. Portal 3 had to have been bulk at one point.
I believe this card was bulk at one point.
Can I pull up a list of cards in that set?
I think you'll get it too quickly at that point. I will say it was reprinted in 8th edition, and the 8th edition printing is worthless. Same art, too.
I got fully nothing. P3K is a big blind spot for me. Peach Garden Oath, yeah? Okay.
For each creature you have in play, you gain 2 life for 1 mana.
No, yeah, I actually, funny if I know this card, I just, for some reason, thought that there was no way it'd be worth anything. It's $20?
Uh-huh.
So, is this card expensive because of the former Magic team Peach Garden Oath? Or is it just...
I think so. I don't actually know. I was hoping you would be able to tell me.
When was the last time this card actually sold, though?
I know Card Kingdom will pay you $10 for near mint copies, so, like...
Yeah,
there's something there.
It sells about a copy a month between $10 and $20. That is... It's got to just be someone who's a big fan of Reed Duke, right?
Yeah, maybe they're getting them signed. I don't know, but for those listeners who are not able to drink yet, this card is named after a X ? Pro Magic team name.
It was a group of 3 players who played team events together. It is Reed Duke, William Huey Jensen, and Hatsune Miku. Yeah, Huey Jensen works for Wizards now. Reed Duke is still, he's a upstate New York Magic legend. I don't know if he actually got put in the Hall of Fame before they got rid of that, but he has a Hall of Fame resume probably at this point.
Known guy who was late to the Pro Tour for helping an old lady fix her car.
Yeah. It wasn't like he was taking his Grand Prix winners photo and he like ran across the street to help someone with their car, like push them out of a ditch.
Yeah.
Unbelievable guy. And then Hatsune Miku obviously is like the most famous Vocaloid, right? Like she had a secret lair, so
huge big ups in the community for her.
Yeah, big Hatsune Miku fan.
My other breaking bulk is kind of in a different way. It is a Commander 2020 rare. No other printings.
Is it like the Kraken with Lieutenant?
No, but good guess.
What color is it?
Blue. Blue creature. So you were very close.
Trench something? It's like the squid that you can untap by discarding a card, maybe?
Nope. Card is really weird.
Yeah.
Eon Frolicker.
Oh, I love this card.
I
the
learned
Delve
that
one,
this
right?
card exists today. It's an Elemental Otter. Card Kingdom will pay you a quarter on it. It's a 5/5 flyer for 4. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you give it an extra turn to an opponent, but then you get, and all your stuff gets protection from that person. So ideally, you're supposed to like convince them to go all out and beat some people up for you. I don't know if that ever works out in practice. If somebody gave me extra turn, I would just use it to ramp and advance my board state because I'm a degenerate. But yeah, the Roka told me to pick this card, so it's gonna go to Card Kingdom and give me a quarter, which is basically in a whole episode's worth of value for you. If you just give us a quarter an episode, then you might not get us canceled.
This was also the commander deck that every single vendor opened 1,000 of because Amazon put them up for too cheap. I remember that.
Oh, I missed out on that one.
Okay, so that was... I had just moved in with my now spouse. We've been living together for like a month, maybe. And a pallet of commander decks showed up to our house. And we got to have the conversation of, this can never happen again. The amount of cardboard in the living room is untenable. It's kind of happened again since, but, you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
The marriage worked out. It's fine.
Whomst among us hasn't had their living room filled with 7 large trash bags.
Full of all the waste from Commander Precon packaging.
Yep. It's impossible to get those, like... You can't, like, package that in a way that is... makes the garbage company okay with you.
I really like the way the Secret Lair Commander decks are packaged.
They're so nice. They're good for shipping. Like, they're reusable. They're so... those boxes are indestructible. They're great. Yes,
they're fantastic. There's actually a while there where, like, on... I think it was only an Amazon thing, but you could buy Commander Precons that were the, like, no packaging version, where, like, they weren't meant for display.
I did that on eBay. 2017 eBay, there was one seller who had just the decks in the plastic wrap, and I bought like maybe 300 across the mono red, mono blue, the red white, the very 2014 2015 era commander deck. I just bought so many of those because Fiery Confluence, Teferi.
This was one that like Wizards made. It was like the new Capenna decks. Yeah, it's actually in the same packaging as the Secret Lair Commander decks.
Yeah.
Speaking of Commander...
Baldur's Gate did those too.
Yes.
I bought the Party Time one deck of that. Yeah.
Speaking of Commander, Eon Frolicker kind of reminds me. I got to play Commander recently, and it was okay. It was pretty good. I did get to play the card Disrupt Decorum for the first time.
Wrath of God.
That card is really good when you play it multiple turns in a row. Like, that card is unbelievably good when you play it multiple turns in a row.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize how strong goading was until I actually got to play with it. Damn. What a mechanic.
Anything fun happen? What were the highlights?
Okay, so we played 4 games, and each person at the table won one of them, which is great. The first game, I died to decking myself because I drew too many cards and self-milled too many cards, which is great. My favorite.
Hell yeah.
The second game, I played Disrupt Decorum like 3 times while everyone fought over this person's Avenger of Zendikar, and I won. The third game... I forget what happened in the third game. The fourth game, we were all so tired, and we were just kind of like playing it out because we wanted to play one more, and I was pretty tuned out. I died pretty early. I don't know. The first 2 games were great.
Great.
Yeah, I got like 3 hours of Commander in me max. As many of you know, Final Fantasy has had its full release. It's available on all online websites now. Target and Walmart can sell it. It's no longer gated to LGSs, and we've seen kind of what I think we're already past peak supply for the set. Or at least for collector box
Already?
stuff.
Really? Oh, for collector boosters, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think that the actual main set stuff is going to be fairly affordable long term. Because it's a standard set, they have to keep producing it for a while.
Yeah, and like I think people are just still gonna want to open these in the long term. Like, you're going to have people coming into Magic through the other Universes Beyond sets, and you will still have paths of discovery to people saying, "Oh, Magic through Spider-Man. Oh, Magic also did Final Fantasy. Well, I need some of that in like October." Yeah.
But like, for example, at the time of this recording, Cloud Midgar Mercenary, the Surge Foil, right, is like $350. I kind of think that card doesn't get much cheaper than that ever. Like,
what do you think about the Chocobos? I don't
I
know
don't
what to
think
think
about
the
them.
chocobos.
What's that?
I don't know what to think about the chocobos. I own a green one. I traded for
Yeah.
it on like day one, and I am very underwater on it right now.
Yeah.
Which whatever. That's just part of the risk of playing the game. But I don't know if they are Hidetsugus or if they are like mana crypts or somewhere in between.
So for me, and this might be totally off base, but my philosophy with this stuff is that the best version is the one that I want to own if I'm going to be purchasing things. And I think that's probably true for a lot of Final Fantasy people too, where it's like, why would I not just get the best Cloud? And obviously the best version of the Chocobos is the serialized one, but that's not attainable to most people.
Right.
I think that the Chocobos will probably be fine, like long term. I think they're probably closer to Cavern of Souls than Mana Crypts. Like where they're valuable and they are desirable to the people who care about them.
Do you think they're above or below $1,000 long term for like green, blue, pink, etc.? Yeah, red or whatever.
I think because aren't they like scaled rarity? Isn't like the blue one the rarest of those?
It's gold, black, everything else.
Okay,
So black, it's gold, black, and then all the rest are equal.
gotcha.
like
I think
pink,
all the rest are
green-
probably under 1,000 long term.
I think you're probably right. I just don't want you to be right because I don't want to lose
I think-
like $600 in this chocobo. But whatever.
I think they're like $800 or $900 like forever, and maybe eventually supply dries up enough that they start creeping up. But I guess midterm, like the next 2 to 3 years, they're like under 1,000. It's possible that after that they become scarce enough. Or the problem also that was like 2 or 3 years from now, people aren't going to care as much about Final Fantasy Magic, right? Like no
Yeah,
one.
whatever the next thing is, yeah.
Exactly. No one cares about Lord of the Rings Magic anymore. Like, the people who want serialized Lord of the Rings cards or whatever, like, they still want them, but that group of people is not really growing.
Yeah.
Part of why, like, if I had $1,000 to spend, like, right now, if we're operating under the assumption that we're at peak supply, that a lot of this collector stuff is at the lowest price it's going to go for the most part, and I had $1,000 to spend,
And you
I would
have to spend it
absolutely-
on Final Fantasy Magic.
yes, I would rather buy 3 copies of Cloud Midgar Mercenary Surge Foil than a single Chocobo.
Okay.
I'd rather buy Surge Foil Tifa's. Like, Surge Foil Tifa's, what, $160 or something? Oh, no, she's like $250. Wow, that card has jumped back up. Yeah, the other thing to note, too, is that, like, if you go to the Surge Foil Tifa Lockhart listing, Japanese copies are like $75. Because the Japanese collector boxes don't have chocobos, like the serialized chocobo in them, or I think any of the neon ones, they're meaningfully cheaper.
I mean, this is the same with like foundations and other
Yep.
boxes like that, right? Where the
Yep.
non-English Overlord of the Duskmourn Japanese showcase foil is like
Yep.
half the price of. We've seen just Magic players don't like the non-English version, and the only time they do like the non-English version is if there is no English version.
Right. The question then becomes, the Amano arts are available in play boosters, right? Like 1 in 3 play boosters has one of like the bonus sheet cards, or is it every pack has a bonus sheet card?
I don't know. I didn't study for this test.
Regardless, the bonus sheet cards are available in the main set, like the play boosters. So I think the Amano stuff actually doesn't have as much staying power as one might think. But anything that's collector booster exclusive, I think we're past peak supply. And I could be wrong on that. Like, there's a chance that, somebody out there decides to bust 500 collector boxes or something when prices get high enough. That's sort of always how the ecosystem works, right? As prices get high, people crack old product, prices come back down when new supply enters the market. Insert a blank supply and demand graph, JJ. Just the two lines.
And then spin it slowly for the rest of the episode. No, I'm kidding. Like,
Yeah, no, do that, JJ. That's why we pay you. What are your thoughts on this, DJ? Like, what if you had to spend money on Final Fantasy stuff right now, where would you be putting it?
if I was forced to spend money on Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy, like $1,000, I would buy one collector booster box, fill the rest of the budget with Stay With Me heuristic studies, and then immediately sell those, lose my 5%, and buy something else.
Great.
I
So-
cheated the game.
in the spirit of doing what the podcast is about, helping our listeners spend their money on Magic more effectively, let's say you were engaging in good faith. Hypothetically, I know that would never happen.
My good faith answer is to not buy Final Fantasy cards right now. I don't know, like...
Okay. That is very reasonable.
I think that there are a lot of places to make money in the game right now, especially with like just the raw reality of economics and like the real world situation and like collection buying and other people who have already done the thing of buying Final Fantasy cards so you can buy their collections and like buy their Final Fantasy lots at a discount. I think that there's like a lot of opportunities to make money with like secret lairs and upcoming sets. Like I think that your war chest goes much harder not buying Final Fantasy right now if you have a choice. I don't think you're wrong about like spending $1,000 in 3 clouds and then like next year they're 500
right.
I don't think you're wrong. I'm just in the churn game more than others, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it too is people want to own Final Fantasy cards. Like some of our listeners aren't quite on the grind as much as we are, and also I think don't have as much opportunity as we do. And so I think there are a couple of cards in the set that are definitely worth buying up, a brick of if you're speccing. But that said, I mean, realistically, if you can buy more of the good secret layers when they drop, or if you can buy collections, you should always do that, right? That's just an implicit fact of the industry.
I think on average, if you're buying the cards to play with, you should just buy them and not think about it.
Yeah, that is true, but that's not why we're here, DJ. We're here to think about it.
People want to feel smart. I get it.
This is actually a really good opportunity to segue into Pick of the Week because my Pick of the Week is relevant here.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
So full disclaimer on my Pick of the Week. I need to make sure I have the name of it right. Astrologian's Planisphere.
What did you just say?
Astrologian's Planisphere from Final Fantasy. It is a blue and a colorless for an artifact equipment. It's a rare. Has job select, so when you put it into play, you living weapon a 1/1 colorless creature. Equipped creature is a wizard in addition to its other types and has whenever you cast a non-creature spell and whenever you draw your third card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and it can equip for 2 colorless. Notably, it makes it a wizard, which is actually huge because Flame of Anor is one of the strongest cards printed in the last 5 years. It re-equips to other creatures after if they kill the threat it creates, you can equip it to another creature and it remains a threat. Tameo is already a card that incentivizes you to draw 3 cards a turn. And there's all these VV Orniteer decks that, you play 3 spells in a turn or whatever. You get 3+1/+1 counters on your creature. This turns all of your creatures individually into Kyrian Dryads, while also making a threat of its own, and also triggering when you resolve a Brainstorm, or if you have a Mishra's Bauble trigger, draw your card for turn, and then Preordain. I think this card is going to be a competitive staple. Notably, not really relevant for the finance side of things, it is playable with Luris and Vintage, which I think is sweet. And if you filter direct on it, cheapest direct listing, I guess there's only foils on direct, dang.
Wait, does Direct have listings right now?
Yeah, it has $20 foil listings for this card.
No, that's not why I'm asking. Like, I'm asking because Direct was supposed to not have any listings available today and tomorrow. Because they're moving their warehouse today.
Oh, no, there's direct listings for this card.
Interesting.
Yeah. Regardless of that, which is interesting, foils on direct are $20. Foils on not direct are like $7 to $9. This card is selling a lot of copies every day. Like 30 copies a day or something. Not quite that many. 20 copies a day. I know that Final Fantasy is the hot new set, but I think this card's really strong. That's all. And the last time I shouted out an equipment that I thought was really strong, it was Corey Steelcutter, so...
I don't think you're wrong. think my pick of the week has mostly bottomed out, and I think you have a little bit more time to pick it up, but this is more of just like a warning shot of just keep an eye on it, and this is sort of a long-term play. Again, I would rather put my money towards collections or other stuff, but part of the podcast contract is we have a sniper pointing a gun at our heads and making us choose a single card every week, like trained monkeys that we think will go up. So my vote for this week is Jeweled Lotus. Jeweled Lotus, infamous in its crash. Market price is back down to like 32 for the Commander Legends one. And if you go to the mtgstocks.com/prince/58202-jeweled-lotus, you will see that I think I don't think Jeweled Lotus is going to hit 25. I think there's enough people in the game who are willing to rule 0, rule 34, whichever rule you abide by that lets you play Jeweled Lotus. Those people are just gonna like put on the fursuit and like just jam games that let you play this 0-mana artifact that is very broken. And I think that's okay. And I think that years from now, after the player base has rotated many a time, I do think that this card will be removed from the ban list eventually if you're in the game of long-term specs.
So I agree with everything DJ said. +1 to all that. My philosophy here is, for a card like this, if I am someone who isn't buying collections, I want to buy one of the borderless foil, or maybe the textured foil, put it in a box, and forget about it until it gets unbanned.
Also fair.
I think that is the highest upside in the, you might play with it someday. Doesn't take a lot of space, and it's one object to think about. If you buy like, if I was in the specking business on this card and I was spending $300, I'd buy one borderless textured foil and not 10 regular ones. And that's probably wrong, but I love buying something and forgetting about it.
I agree. I also think that this card could be the next Splinter Twin.
Yeah.
And that
every
like
ban
it's
cycle,
gonna,
just like, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can ride a roller coaster with this card and just sell it every time people think it's going to get unbanned, and then rebuy it every time it doesn't get unbanned, and then you make enough money over that time to just, like, free roll whatever copy you want.
Our Commander ban list announcement once per year, like, standard, or is it just, like, they announce it ahead of time and then it happens?
I believe it is, like, 3 to 4 times a year.
Okay.
But this time, they specifically said, we're unbanning all of this stuff and then not touching it for the rest of the calendar year.
Right.
And they said that in, like, March-ish? April, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do think we can have multiple Commander bannings or unbannings in a year. Okay. I don't think we are having that this year, specifically because they are in the muddy waters of Commander Advisory Group / format panels / whatever they want to call it, with just having unveiled the whole new format kind of thing. In brackets.
I will say, credit to them. I think the bracket system actually is pretty good for communicating things.
I think it's a solid start, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I've been very impressed with, like, just watching people communicate with it, and just, like, my deck's a high 4, and, like, they're mostly right. I think that there is just, like, a... Rule 0 was such a great concept when Commander was small.
Yeah.
And I think we have enough people and enough variety of people engaging with it where, like, having more clear language has been really helpful.
Commander players learn about society.
Right. I'm
Turns
no
out
longer a
small
Commander
tribe of
hater.
People can have a Rule 0, and then, like, once you get big enough, it's like, we need
Right.
laws and codifications.
Let the record state that I'm not a Commander hater anymore, but I am not pro-Commander. Like, I don't condone it, but whatever you do in your home is, like, fine with me, you know? And, of course, I experimented in college, like we all did. It's fine.
You did say +1 to everything I said, which included Rule 34, so I think that has you covered.
Oh, it's Rule 35 now, actually. Which I believe is, if there isn't porn of it, it will exist soon, I think. It's been a long time since I've read the rules of the internet. I think I was in 6th grade the last time I did.
Our listeners were in 6th grade the last time they lost the game.
Get in the comments if you're cranky
Gonna
with
get a
DJ.
lot of people mad with that one. All right, so we've talked about current Magic. Let's talk about future Magic. We are halfway through 2025. The year started bumpy at best with Innistrad Remastered and Aether Drift. Very, very big ups into Tarkir and Final Fantasy. The rest of the year has Edge of Eternities, which is Magic's space alien...
Space opera.
Yes, just very space frontier-y. The cover art is like Tezzeret with Sephiroth hair doing something. And then we have Marvel Spider-Man, September 26th, and then Avatar The Last Airbender, late November, or early November.
I think that Edge of Eternities is a set tailor-made for me, but I do think it will kind of be a flop, honestly. Being sandwiched between Spider-Man and Final Fantasy with Atla on the horizon is like such a tough spot for a set to be, especially because aren't the October, like the August releases usually pretty weak?
Yeah. Yeah, historically we've had like fall set be like New Plane, and then somewhere in the summer set is like banger of a Modern Horizons or a Modern Masters kind of thing. And then whatever releases in like August has historically been has historically struggled.
Well, like last year it was Duskmorn, right?
Duskmorn was like September.
It was the rotation set, right?
I thought Bloomborough was.
Bloomborough was in June of that year, maybe July of that year.
Okay. I think you're right,
but
yeah.
I think Duskmorn was the rotation set. And like Duskmorn was not super successful initially.
It took a while for people to realize the cards were very, very good.
Yes, Duskmorn is, I think, the strongest set individually in Standard right now. That might not fully be true. There might be something I'm forgetting, but like, I think Duskmorn is like, it was the first set in a very long time where it was very profitable to redeem Moto sets at multiple points in its time of being available for that. Like, Kaito, Overlords, Verges, there's just like a million cards in that set that are busted. Even the uncommons are really good. Like Shelter by Ghost is so strong.
Ghost Vacuum.
Yep. Aberrant Oculus is a card I just forgot was on that list. Like, that card's so strong. And it's possible that something they're considering doing is, like, juicing the fall sets. People actually do care about it. And, like I said, Edge of Eternities is a set made for me. I love a good space opera.
But it's impossible to, like, compete against everything else in that window. Like, you can't look at Final Fantasy and Spider-Man and be like, how dare you not beat these sets? Come on. Like, what are you doing, EOE? Like, I don't know.
But it's also possible that, like, Wizards is more acutely aware than ever that their IP needs to be strong. Like, Tarkir was super cool because it was so distinctly Magic. Even the callback parts of it were great, but the parts that weren't even callbacks, like the new Tarkir stuff, was so distinctly Magic. The set was really well crafted. The lore felt resonant. The thing about Tarkir that I think always really stuck with people is that you got glimpses into the mundane of the world of Tarkir, and you actually could feel immersed in the world just through opening booster packs and playing games with the cards. Mm-hmm. And it's possible that they're investing more in world building stuff, because like Duskmorn had that too. Bloomborough obviously did. I think Magic IP is stronger than ever. It's just less frequent.
Is Aether Drift just like a miss on the read? Like, we think people are really going to enjoy this, and it's just...
The hat sets typically don't vibe well. It's funny because like Bloomborough kind of had a hat set thing going on
is
quietly.
Also a hat set though, isn't it? Kind of.
Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, I'm thinking about OTJ and Aether Drift, and I wonder if the hat sets, when they're silly, just don't land as well. Because like Bloomborough, obviously it was whimsical, but it had an air of severity to it, right? Like, these animals were living real lives.
There was a cataclysmic thing that had to be stopped, and there were stakes with like, yeah.
And I guess Duskmorn had its goofy moments, like people talk about the cheerleader cards or whatever, or like the horror schlock stuff, but Duskmorn had some of the best horror fantasy art I've ever seen. Like, John Tedrick went off on that set. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think Magic IP is good.
That's a very good point about Magic needing to step its own game up so it doesn't get lost and become its own Fortnite. Like, you can't have the Fortnite IPs take over the Fortnite. Like... Yeah.
There was a Mark Rosewater Tumblr post where he addressed this a little bit, and he said something out loud that I didn't think he would say out loud, which is, it's really expensive for Wizards to license Final Fantasy. He didn't use those words, but he's like, it's really important that Magic maintains its own brand identity where we have control over the IP, because like licensing stuff is expensive and it makes it so we make less money, and if our only goal is to pay for shareholders' yachts or whatever, like, we gotta make money. And I think that Universes Beyond stuff is great for growing the game, but Magic IP is great for making them actual money. It's one of those things where like there's only two things that a business ever does. They either grow the business or they make money. And Universes Beyond does not make as much money. Obviously, they still sell out and make gangbusters or whatever, but like they got to pay Square Enix, I don't know, a couple percent off the top, and that is huge.
I remember something from a similar source. I believe it was Mark Rosewater's blog, but there was something about certain IPs have to pay them, and there's certain IPs they have to pay for, effectively.
No shot Wizards paid BBC anything for Doctor Who.
No.
Doctor Who was not doing great at the time. And Magic was a lot bigger, I think, on the average. They probably are paying such an exorbitant amount for Final Fantasy that like it probably took justifying to get that set off the ground, if I had to guess. Because Square Enix is notorious for wanting a lot of money.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, I have no idea which way it went, honestly.
That's something we'll never know the answer to either, right? Like,
Right. Unless we get some tell-all from like an executive who's scorned or whatever. Like, if you're an executive who's been scorned by Wizards, write a tell-all. I'd buy that book.
I mean, I think Spider-Man is kind of just another Final Fantasy, or do people run out of money for this? Does it come at a really weird time in the year? Because I think if they switch places, like if Spider-Man comes first and then Final Fantasy, I think Spider-Man is the Final Fantasy of like, oh my god, selling. No,
I disagree, and I'm going to explain why, and this is very much a vibes thing. Have you ever met a Final Fantasy 14 player?
yes,
Like, in real life?
yeah.
The kind of person... I'm describing one of my friends here, and I apologize to my friend if this is hurtful. But Final Fantasy 14 players are the kind of people who really love Final Fantasy, and they have good jobs, and they don't really do things other than play Final Fantasy 14, which is great. Having a hobby is great. DJ's like that with RuneScape. I'm like that with, unfortunately, trying to be good at Legacy. Final Fantasy booster boxes being $800 does not deter a Final Fantasy fan, I don't think. It obviously deters some, but the kind of person who is going to engage with expensive stuff will buy Final Fantasy stuff. The kind of person who engages with Marvel stuff, I don't know how much money they actually spend on Marvel stuff. I don't know. Like, I'm sure the set will do very well, but I don't think it's going to be Final Fantasy levels.
They can afford to go to a $200 movie ticket every month with their family.
It's not a $200 movie ticket either, right? That's the thing, is like that's 4 people plus getting snacks or whatever at the theater, and that's once every month. You're gonna spend that much on a single booster box of Spider-Man. Is that gonna be worth it for you? I don't know. One of those expenses is, I hate talking about stuff like this, but like a lot of Magic players play Magic in spite of what their spouse thinks about it. You know the type, DJ, of like, my wife's gonna kill me.
Can I?
Going to the
I don't
movies-
want a receipt. I don't want her to know what I spent.
Right. The kind of guy who like goes to the movie with his family, like that's a freebie. That's a thing he gets to do for fun where it's approved. Buying a booster box of Spider-Man might not be approved.
That's
and
true.
Realistically, guys, just tell your wife that you enjoy Magic, and if she doesn't, I don't know, you both sound miserable.
Get your wife game up.
Yeah, honestly, get a dope, cool wife
Spider-Man
who does
also doesn't
skateboard
have
tricks.
Spider-Man also doesn't have precons, which I think is a big factor. Like Assassin's Creed didn't have precons, right?
So Spider-Man is just beyond boosters and collector boosters, or is it like a full set, like a full
It's a
draftable
full
set?
tentpole set that will be draftable, etc., but it does not have pre-constructed decks.
Interesting. That's a really weird choice.
I agree. It will be getting the scene box akin to Lord of the Rings. So you'll get like the poster-ish, like 6 cards that show the panoramic art of Spider-Man doing the things. And then Spider-Man will also not have its own cards online. That there's
So
an
Spider-
entire universe within the set because Marvel would not let go of the IP for Arena or
Right.
Moto.
So we're not going to have Spider-Man, hero of the city or whatever. Instead, we're going to have Web Shooter Man, hero of Thraben or
Innistrad.
some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And they're releasing a full in tandem universes within set for the digital stuff.
Correct.
And those are both releasing at the same time, and they're both standard legal.
Referred to as Through the Omen Paths as a digital-only release. I think we've convinced ourselves that this is much worse than Final Fantasy, yes.
This is so much worse than Final Fantasy. Holy smokes. The fact that, like, the kind of person who stays at home playing Final Fantasy 14 all day, they're going to log onto Arena and play some games and spend some money on some gyms.
Uh-huh.
None of them are going to log onto Arena to play with Webman, Thraben Hero.
No, because they already have Marvel Rivals for that.
Yeah, exactly. Or Marvel Snap, right? Isn't Marvel Snap still a
that's
game?
what I meant. Yeah, Snap is what I
Okay.
meant. Yeah, the card game.
Yeah. Either way, they have two digital offerings. And, like, I don't know. If I were that person, I wouldn't play Arena. That's buck wild that they're going with. Like, I feel like that should have killed the project. I don't make these decisions, clearly.
I don't know. And then we know basically nothing about Avatar Last Airbender.
Are Beyond Boosters still a thing? Like, they did it for Assassin's Creed, and I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure. Regardless, we're getting Avatar: The Last Airbender cards, and I am excited about them. So
I am too.
So we've talked about present Magic and future Magic. Let's talk about past Magic. Let's talk about Legacy and Vintage. I guess also pre-modern too. We recently had LobsterCon a couple weeks back. This most previous weekend, the New York Stacks Exchange happened, which is a $500 entry fee vintage tournament with a full set of power to top 8. One of my dear friends, Jacob Bard, won. He won a Black Lotus, and he got to upgrade the CE Lotus that was in his deck. Notably, he is the one who got 9th, I think, in Eternal Weekend last year, with a Lotus Petal in his deck instead of a Black Lotus, because the Lotus he was going to borrow became unavailable the day before. So now he's playing with the real Black Lotus at Eternal Weekend instead of a Lotus Petal, and he's probably unstoppable, so watch out for that. Additionally, Eternal Weekend dates have been announced. So we're kind of in that, like, the first half of the year is not really for Eternal Magic. The back half kind of is, and it's my favorite part of the year. I'm actually taking a cross-country trip for a full month to hit Eternal Weekend, SCG-Con Baltimore, and the DMV Legacy League Invitational.
Oh, hell yeah. Eternal Weekend's early this year.
Yeah, like October 6th through 9th, I think?
Early October, yeah.
Yeah, which I love. I love a good early Eternal Weekend. It's not too cold in the city yet. It's always Pittsburgh. Yeah, if you're going to be Eternal Weekend... It was Philly a few years ago, wasn't it? That is true. No, it was Philly for the Command Fest that we
No, it was Philly Eternal Weekend because that is where I met my ex.
That is where you met your ex. That is true. It was Philly. Great. Are we sure that wasn't the Command Fest?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that was the event where I had to negotiate a buy where the customer was visibly drunk.
Right. Philly's a great city. We should host more events there. We all should meet our ex and negotiate a drunk buy in the city of Philadelphia. The city of brotherly love. That's what that is, right?
That's the city of brotherly love where they killed the little traveling robot, yes.
Yeah, that's brother. But Larry and Jihad now. But it's usually in Pittsburgh. It used to be in Philly, but now it's usually in Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's a great city. I think that Legacy and Vintage are both in great spots right now, despite what some people will say about Legacy. Oops All Spells is not even a good deck.
Of the city of Pittsburgh visually. I have very little to say about it, like, food-wise or experience-wise, but I like driving into the city and just looking at what the city looks like.
The city is beautiful. The food, I think, is pretty good there, and you're obviously confined to a booth when you work it, but, like, when you're playing in the tournaments and you step out of the hall for a second and you're right next to, like, these huge glass windows looking out over the river...
Like, there's a nice little balcony on the edge of the convention center where you can just like look at the bridges and the big towers and
when you top 8 Eternal Weekend, they make you stand outside on that balcony and take a photo as the top 8 together, no matter how cold it is. And they take a lot of photos and it takes a while. So just note that. No, it's a great venue. One year we were there and there was
impact Legacy at all?
So I think there are a couple of cards that might see Legacy play. Notably, Astrologian's Planisphere, my pick of the week. Some people have been playing around with Tifa Lockhart, the 2-mana 1/2 landfall double her power. People are playing like Invigorate and like Berserk and like doing not infect stuff.
Hell yeah.
Let me look at the set list real quick, because I think there were a couple other cards that might see play. I think cards in this set, people have not fully discovered how strong some of them are yet, which is typical for sets these days.
Especially
Cecil
when
Dark
it's so
Knight,
big.
Right. Cecil Dark Knight might see playing like a Death Shadow deck in Legacy, which I would love personally. But for the most part, I think the set's fairly modest as far as eternal power level goes, especially compared to Lord of the Rings.
Have people tried out this new Dark Confidant guy in Legacy yet?
Yeah, I think that card would be pretty good. You do lose 5 life to your Forcible sometimes, but like, I don't know, your deck's got, what, 18 lands in it?
Yeah.
Actually, 2 of the adventure lands have been seeing play. There's a Legacy person on Moto, James Kisau, I think, is the handle, who only plays Grixis Control. With, like, bro's been playing a main deck Nimble Obstructionist for, like, the last 8 months. Like, dude is on some
Hour
old
of
head shit.
Devastation card?
Yeah, dude is an old head. He's been playing Midgar, City of Mako, and Lindblum, Industrial Regency, the adventure lands with 3-mana spells, which I think is awesome.
Sure.
I think the impact of this set is going to take a while to fully figure out. Like, there's a lot of cards that read really strange. Actually, the biggest one, VV Orniteer. That card's messed up. That card is as broken as people thought it was, and then some. That card might get something banned in Standard.
Really?
The fact that Blue-Red Corey Steelcutter was already the best deck in Standard, and now VV is like a card you can play in it, is tough. One other thing to note about this set that is very minor is that I think it's one of the best limited formats I've played in a while. Like, stashing a couple of boxes of this is something I could do. Yeah. I can see stashing a couple of boxes of this, honestly.
Is it worth stashing boxes if it's legal for so long in Standard with distribution being available? Or play boxes?
Well, I mean, eventually, like, later in its life cycle, I would probably stash a couple boxes to, like, draft a few years down the line.
Vegas is this week.
Vegas is this week. DJ's booth-bound.
I am booth-bound for the week. Come say hi at the Tales of Adventure booth, TOA Magic, the purple banners. Feel free to say hi, even if I'm busy, please. Even if I'm like in a buy, you can just be like, "Hi DJ, I love the podcast. That's cool." Can't do much beyond that, but if you want to sell cards to us, you should bring a list. You should put yourself in a TCG player collection tracker list. That is how you get the most money when selling cards, by de-sleeving them. If you do some of the work beforehand, you get more of the money when you sell. Enjoy Vegas. It'll be 100 degrees. Bring your chapsticks in bulk. Bring your waters. Bring your etc. Stay hydrated. Bring extra changes of clothes. It'll be a miserable weekend. If you're outside for anything longer than like 5 minutes, you should take the $5 Ubers when you can. It's Vegas.
My plan is to go from the airport to my hotel, from the hotel to the venue, from the venue to the hotel, and then again and again and again until I go back to the airport. If I'm outside for more than 5 minutes at any given time, I will simply just die. I'll just die on the streets of Vegas.
Yeah. It'll be like the Justin Timberlake In Time movie.
No. I'm the kind of person who always wears a hoodie. I'm just packing tank tops and t-shirts. Like, I'm just gonna... Actually, pack your chapsticks and your water, but also pack an extra stick of deodorant. Just please bring deodorant.
Yeah.
It's going to be so sweaty. They just hosted the North American International Championships for Pokemon in New Orleans this previous weekend. New Orleans in June is kind of like Vegas, except it's wetter. It was like 95 degrees and max humidity, and it was like a 6,000 person event. I cannot imagine the smell. Not to be that person, but like I cannot imagine the smell in that venue. So please, if you're in Vegas, hydrate or you'll die.
Don't be a trubbish.
And yeah. Yeah.
What's that confused look. Trubbish is a great Pokemon. I will defend him to the ends of the goddamn earth.
I've told you, Trubbish is my favorite cat Pokemon.
Cat Pokemon?
You don't know about this? Pokemon released a series of like sleeves and playmats and deck boxes and stuff that were like all the cats in Pokemon like playing or whatever. And on every single one of them, Trubbish was there. Trubbish is a cat hanging out in a trash bag. Like, come on, how can you not love him?
Okay, I mean, I loved him before, but now I love him more.
I don't know if it's actually supposed to be a cat or if they just included it on all of them, but I choose to believe that Trubbish is a cat hiding in a trash bag. Yeah.
Hell yeah. More poison-type cat representation.
Yeah, exactly. Is there another poison cat?
I don't think so.
Great.
That's why Eevee needs a poison-type evolution.
I'm an Eevee hater, so...
I don't care, but I'm a poison-type lover, so...
That's fair.
Alright. We don't know how to end an episode without Corbin, so... Corbin's
See ya
a coward.
in Vegas.
Tip his drink over in Vegas if you see him.
If you see Corbin, just run up and punch him.
Yeah, Houdini him. Yeah, Corbin is our Houdini test subject.
Yes.
There we go. We found out how to end the episode.
We're not liable for anything that happens to you, Corbin.
Be sure to pretend to be a spiritualist when you punch him, too. Corbin is a deeply religious man. All right,
Yeah.
that's the end of that. JJ Fade us out.